This pastor deceived an entire village to starve to death for salvation while he ate full meals. This all happened in a Kenyan forest, but the horror wasn't just in the deaths, it was in the process. Paul Mackenzie wasn't just a preacher, he was an architect of agony who weaponized faith to build a factory for ghosts. He didn't use a gun to get them into the forest of death, he used a meticulously crafted psychological trap. The process began long before they reached the trees. Mackenzie started by systematically stripping them of their humanity. He told them that schools, hospitals, and governments were demonic. He forced them to burn their university degrees, their birth certificates, and their family photos. He was effectively erasing their identities before they ever stepped foot into the 800-acre Shakahola Forest. By the time they followed him into that wasteland, they had no names, no history, and no world left to return to. They were already dead, they just hadn't stopped breathing yet. Once they were deep enough in the forest, where the world couldn't hear the screams, the Shakahola Protocol began. Mackenzie issued a divine decree that broke the human spirit in stages. This wasn't a fast to the finish, it was a hierarchy of execution. He mandated that the children be starved first. He knew the dark physics of the human heart. Once a mother watches her child wither, cry for water, and eventually go silent, her will to live vanishes. The schedule was a brutal countdown. The children first, then the single women, then the married women, and finally the men. To keep them from rebelling, he used spiritual gaslighting. He told parents that the agonizing sound of their child's organs failing was actually the Holy Spirit hugging them as they transitioned to heaven. The forest was divided into villages with names like Nazareth and Judea to make the starving followers feel like they were living in a holy land, while in reality, they were walking through an open-air morgue. For those who woke up from the trance, Mackenzie had a physical security system in place. He had enforcers, armed with clubs, machetes, and wire, patrolling the borders of the camp like prison guards. If a mother tried to sneak a single drop of rainwater to her dying infant, she was branded a traitor and disciplined. If a man tried to run for the road, he was hunted down in the bush and beaten into a shallow grave. They were trapped in a death loop where hunger was the weapon and the forest was the cage. Mackenzie sat in his tent, cool and fed, watching his flock turn into a field of bones. Investigators found that the starvation wasn't the only cause of death. Autopsies revealed that many victims, including children, had been strangled, bludgeoned, or suffocated. Some bodies were even found with missing organs, raising terrifying questions about what was really happening in that forest under the cover of a fast. In 2023, the world thought the horror ended when Mackenzie was put in chains. But Shakahola is a nightmare that refuses to die. As of late 2025, a second site, Shakahola 2, has been uncovered. Maury Grave, Maury secrets, but the most haunting detail comes from inside his high-security cell. Investigators recently raided Mackenzie's quarters and found a smuggled mobile phone. He wasn't calling a lawyer. He was allegedly recording clandestine sermons, sending them to sleepers still hiding in the bushes, ordering them to complete the mission and finish the fast. Even behind bars, the man is still claiming lives from 500 miles away. Paul Mackenzie took the purest thing a human has, their faith, and turned it into a weapon of mass destruction. He didn't just kill their bodies, he erased their humanity before they even hit the ground. If this story shook you, drop a skull emoji in the comments. Follow for more. Stay safe.